Hi, welcome to your astrology forecast for April 23rd to April 29th, 2015. On April 23rd, the moon in Cancer sextiles the sun in Taurus, and they both in conjunct Saturn and Sagittarius, which is retrograde, by the way. So, the moon in Cancer is going to help us to get in touch with our innermost feelings and also be more in touch with our home and family and our deeper selves. And then the sun in Taurus is helping us to get in touch with our values and our what we believe in, what we care about, and also on top of that, our stuff sometimes and our possessions and what we find value in, maybe even sentimental value and money and stuff like that. They're both semi-concerned with security. And then with them in conjunct Saturn and Sagittarius is having us look at our beliefs, especially any beliefs that are keeping us limited and held back and preventing us from being able to move on and expand and just really become beyond our comfort zones, going beyond our comfort zones. But Saturn is kind of having us look within right now with the retrograde going on, and we have to kind of look at what we need to change to allow for ourselves to be more expansive and be willing to take more risks. And of course, our homes and our things can sometimes, wow, this cat's going nuts right now. But yeah, basically, um, sometimes the stuff that we have in our homes and stuff can be very comfortable, and we can get very caught up in our immediate environments in terms of that. And so Saturn is kind of asking us, what are we willing to sacrifice so that we can become our greater selves and become more expansive? And, so something to kind of think about anyway. Okay, on April 24th, the moon in Cancer opposes Pluto in Capricorn, and they both square Uranus and Aries. So then we are kind of having to face our darker selves a bit, and there may be a lot of projections going on, especially in one-on-one situations, a lot of projections onto other people, and there's some tensions being brought up as well about our homes and our careers and our sense of independence and freedom. And we're going to want to feel like we want to be more free within those structures. And so we may act out at times during these times by being a bit more unexpected in our behavior or rebellious even. And so, trying to find a balance in life, nice work, home, and self balance is definitely, needed at these times. And of course, making sure to take the time to go within, because there's so much external stimuli these days. There's so many, things to watch and pay attention to and read, and just so much information overload is really occurring. So it's so important to stay centered and to keep ourselves going within, and also choosing things that are in alignment with who we are and who we want to be. So it is important to find things that are aligned with you and to let go of things that are not in alignment with you. And then Mercury and Taurus sextiles Chiron and Pisces, and this will help you to have conversations about very deep-rooted emotional wounds. And perhaps you'll even just be thinking about these things more often. And, um, if you are with somebody that you trust, it might help you to talk about these things. And, some of these wounds could be around self worth and money and um, stuff like that. And then on April 25th, the moon moves into Leo. So this kind of helps bring a little more fun into the world here. So we can express ourselves very creatively and express our emotions in a more creative kind of manner. We could get a little bit dramatic about how we're feeling at times on this day, but it's also great for having a good time and having fun with your children and nurturing your children, of course, and helping them become more creative and allowing them to express their emotions. Maybe you'll have to nurture them emotionally a little more on this day. And then the moon in Leo squares the sun in Taurus, which is a first quarter moon. And this actually could be bringing up some stuff around money, and perhaps you've been spending a bit more than you should be, or uh, having to find more creative solutions for creating money, or finding a nice balance there, really trying to make sure that you're bringing in more than you're letting go. But you may also have a tendency to want to have a good time on this day, so just make sure that you find something that doesn't cost too much or isn't going to break the bank. Um, but yeah, I mean, even things that you might want to do creatively could cost money, or maybe hanging out with your children or something might bring up money as well. So just try to find a nice balance there so that you don't overspend, because I mean, there's been a lot of indications that that might be happening. And then on April 26th, the moon conjuncts Jupiter in Leo. So this is going to help you become more expansive and expressive of your philosophies, perhaps, and you may enjoy conversations that really help you to bring your emotions into a more expansive state, or, kind of getting into more discussions and teaching and learning and expressing with those who are closest to you um, all your deepest philosophies, and learning about their deepest philosophies as well could occur. And you may just gain wider awareness on this day because of that. And then the moon and Jupiter in Leo sextile Venus in Gemini. So this is going to bring a lot of fun to your relationships, a lot of learning and mental agility, and a lot of ability to understand new concepts and ideas and express them in a way that's very harmonious. By the way, they all in conjunct Pluto and Capricorn. So Pluto and Capricorn is definitely, with it being in retrograde motion, it's having us really go within and dig deeper within ourselves and reveal the darkest aspects of ourselves, and especially in the areas of career. It could also have to do with authority figures or even father figures potentially. And being able to look at those things within your relationships and be able to express how you feel about all of that, about how you feel about authority figures and the father figures you've had, or even your career, and expressing your deepest fears and desires and just the deepest aspects of what you really feel around those things can actually help you to both get closer to that person that you're talking to, or even help you just expand beyond those fears so that you can really move on. And then Venus in Gemini sextiles Uranus and Aries. So this can actually bring a bit of more excitement to your relationships and more adventure, and also a lot of insights, and conversations can be especially insightful, and you can really touch on subjects that usually aren't very easy to touch on with more diplomacy and more just ability to understand the other person's point of view. Because Aries can help you confront certain things, and Venus can help smooth that stuff over. And Gemini also helps with being able to see two different sides of the same coin. And so some major insights and breakthroughs can occur in relationships, especially if you have conversations and very open and honest, and maybe even sometimes kind of blunt conversations. Very strongly truthful conversations can bring those insights and also bring new life into the relationship. And then on April 27th, the moon moves into Virgo, and this actually can help you to sift through information and also sort through your plans and organize details and take care of details and take care of your health and make sure that you're keeping things in order and taking care of your daily responsibilities. Moon in Virgo is always good for that stuff. And then on April 28th, Mars in Taurus sextiles Chiron in Pisces. And so this actually could bring up some amount of defensive behavior when it comes to old wounds and pain. And it's important not to take out your pain on anybody or get defensive in any way about it. But if you go within yourself and confront those deepest wounds, then you can actually gain more by doing that. Gain more self-worth and more sense of really truly valuing yourself if you confront those wounds around those things. And potentially it could also uncover some blocks, like releasing blocks to gaining more abundance potentially. And then Venus in Gemini squares Chiron in Pisces. So this is bound to bring up a little bit of tension in your relationships. Maybe you say something within the relationship that might bring up an old wound, or like an old wound gets brought up somehow in conversation, and this could bring some tensions up. But as long as you approach things from a very diplomatic way and be very compassionate, then you should be able to work things out and kind of find a nice middle ground there, or you'll be able to smooth things over as long as you are compassionate and open to listening, or also open to talking about it too, if you're having wounds come up for you. And on April 29th, the moon in Virgo creates a grand trine with Pluto in Capricorn and Mars in Taurus. So this is going to have you confronting some things that really need to change, especially in your daily routine or in your career or what you're doing to make money. All of these areas are going to be brought up, and they're all kind of one and the same almost, but sometimes they differ. So, I mean, this may be a time where you may have like some kind of intervention that really forces you to make some major transformations in how you're dealing with your responsibilities and how you're making money in your career. And it's going to actually be for the better because it is a trine, but it's best to confront these things head on. A trine may make it easier to like brush over them, but if you just go deep within and confront whatever's stopping you from optimizing these areas, or whatever's keeping you from approaching them in the best way possible. I don't know what your situation is, but however that applies to you, it's best to confront whatever it is so that later you don't have to deal with it and have it be more intense. So with the grand trine, it is best to utilize this energy so that it's the most easy flowing rather than squander it. So it might be a good time to change up your routine or figure out a new job that might be more in alignment with what you value and, doing something like that. And then the moon in Virgo opposes Chiron in Pisces, and they both square Venus in Gemini. So I did kind of brush on Venus squaring Chiron. Moon in Virgo involved could bring up wounds around criticisms, or maybe you are being critical of your partner or somebody that you are in relationship with in some way. Could even have to do with siblings potentially, because Gemini rules siblings. And so there could be some wounds that get brought up through a criticism, or maybe you're being overly critical of someone. So it's good to have more compassion and to even converse with this person and kind of work out those things and be mindful that, we're all just human and all of us make mistakes, and be willing to forgive, and also be willing to forgive yourself if you have to. And then the Sun in Taurus sextiles Neptune in Pisces. So our sense of self and self-worth is very, being very dissolved almost, or very open to others at this time. Neptune is bringing in a lot of energy, and like you may sometimes pick up on other people's energies that maybe how they're feeling about themselves. And so it's a good idea to hang out with people who do have a good sense of self-worth or sense of feeling good about themselves at this time, so that you aren't taking on other people's stuff. But it's also great actually for tuning in to new ideas and new ways of making money, and being able to actually look at yourself and your self-worth from a deeper perspective, and look at what's unconsciously happening and dissolving away things that are keeping you from feeling good about yourself. So it's very much about letting go of old ways of looking at yourself, and also old ways of looking at money potentially as well. So yeah, that's it for the week. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to like, subscribe, comment, and share. I really appreciate it. And I will talk to you soon. Thanks for watching. Have an awesome week.